it's been a while. I'm back here again on YouTube, and I'm here for a new series idea thing that I've had going through my head for a bit. If you follow me over on TikTok, you might have an idea from my last post there, or one of my last few on this series idea. Yeah, I'm going to be trying new styles of building because I've been using very distinct one style for most of my builds, and I kind of want to branch out and learn new ones. So I'm starting today with one I've touched on very slightly, which is modern, just to try get into this series a bit. And yeah, I've noticed a lot that during modern builds, there's a lot of grays, a bit of wood, and most white, and the balconies. Balconies play a lot in this. So we're gonna just start in the building and start going through this. Now, just pointing out, this is not a tutorial video. This is not showing you how to make this exact house. This is more showing how to make a house in the modern style your own way, with differences, making better, making changes, just a kind of overview of the modern building style as I try to understand it. So let's get building. Yeah, so for this building, I'm gonna start by just marking out the kind of size and space of the area I want. And I want it kind of to be big because a lot of these modern houses are fairly big. A lot of it is fairly tall as well. So, you know, just want to get that kind of idea true of modern and trying to piece it together. Now, I do also want to just experiment with this build as well, try to understand it properly. So I want the tall wood on the side. I'm going to have another piece here, which is going to have a slanty roof, which I've noticed appears a bit. And I want kind of a pathway leading around there that goes up into another bit that juts out along here, just slightly out further than here and across. Now, what I've also noticed about the building, I don't want it to go quite as far back as here, so about there, and bring that across to finish it off. Now, with this, I've noticed a lot of glass, mainly at corners, doing like corner glass like that, but we'll get into that later. Now I'm just going to build up these square bricks that I have, and I'll be back then. Okay, so I've built up all the wood. I've built up this. Now I've left off a roof for the moment, and I've also gotten myself some stone because I'm thinking with the walkway here going to be about that level with the stairs, that we go up one, two, three, up to about here and bring this out a few blocks with stone, which is just a different color. And I've noticed a lot of it is covered, a lot of the type of modern have this kind of covering over entranceways and stuff, which the entrance is probably going to be here. So with that covered up, and then building up a 4 block high one, which I'm going to do. I'm going to build it across here just to add a different kind of style to it, which just it adds the contrast, which there is quite a lot in these builds, a lot of contrast, different colors. Well, not like blue and purple and that, but a lot of grays and browns and whites that don't necessarily all go together, but that do look fairly nice in this style. So with that, we also need to focus on the thing I mentioned with balconies, where there are loads used in these styles, which I think I want to bring this up one higher before focusing on the balcony, which I want to place on top of this building here. So if we come in and just mark out those 6 blocks We could go 7 blocks, 8 blocks, just for that balcony, which just for the moment I'm going to put it as wood, but I will change it later and just have that come out to have a balcony in that location. And I'm also thinking you can use part of this roof along here as another area for a balcony, because there are normally more than one. But I just think there you can kind of see the shape I'm going for. And I'm going to just get all the materials for the roof and start putting that in now as well. Now, now I'm back and I have all my deep slate, which I'm going to be using for the roof. And for here, I kind of want a very slow slant up with this kind of 3 blocks and then going up just into the roof and having that come out one and go along. And the same kind of over here where we go out 3, then up, and then the 3 again, up. Just because I've noticed quite a few of these houses do have slanty roofs, and I did that off. I think that's better. Yeah, that looks about right compared to both sides. So there's a lot of slanty roofs, and then up here, we want it just to be a standard square roof, which I've noticed while looking at them, they do stick out over the top of the edge and they tend to be black. Sometimes they have a little white outline around, but that doesn't happen all the time. And I'm just going to finish by bringing that up here to kind of cover up the gap before adding it in. And the same kind of goes for this area. We need just to cover it. And I'm also thinking slanty roof here, just because I really like the look of them. So I'm going to do this one at a bit more of a proper like slanty angle like that, which you've probably seen a lot already in some builds that I do, especially in my last winter series over on TikTok, which I really found enjoyable. Just gonna cut that off there and do the same thing kind of here, where I just remove those bits just to kind of help. And we do also need to cover up in here as well, which is going to be hard with the slant, but maybe if we do it like that, is that easy to notice? Kind of, but not too much. I I don't like it, but it's probably the cleanest we're gonna get that. And then just, I'm gonna fill in the roofs and the blocks there as well. Okay, I'm back. I've made some slight tweaks like this. I have changed just the angle of the roof, which is in more of a up to, and they kind of confer like this. So it's like 4 in a row and then 4 in a row, 4 in a row, which I just think has a slightly nicer shape to it for this point. I filled in this flat roof here and I filled in this roof here, which has a similar slant, which is just 2, 2, 2, and that, and I've added in this here for the balconies and changed the floor there. Now, there is one thing that we need. Like mentioned before, we need lots of windows. So I'm gonna come along and just in this corner, I'm gonna add in a 3 high window because uh, it adds in the big corner windows as before. Now we do need a way out up onto here. So I'm gonna open this up a bit there, and we need more windows. So I'm gonna add in a long one along here, which is 2. Now we do also need windows here. So like this, I'm just gonna add in a long window here. It just covers that. And up at about what floor, what height is this? I'm gonna follow along here, which would be along there, and do a long corner window too high up along here, which so it would be at floor level. Now there is this big spot here that's missing a lot of space, but you know what? Honestly, a lot of space is just blank in these builds. You could switch this over to stone bricks because stone bricks are used a lot, but we also need to just add in the path up here, which I might switch that from stone bricks over to just normal stone, just for the, again, tiny bit of contrast there is. And we need the doorway in here too wide. And I'm gonna add in another long window here, which I'm gonna just bring out one more, which brings in a lot of big windows into this space, this build, this house, all modern style, which I like. And actually, can you get through glass like that? You can. So I'm thinking of extending that a bit and just adding in a glass wall there. Just make it look more like a doorway. I could add one there and remove that. Just, it looks okay, but I think this looked better doing it along that way. But whatever you think, this is not showing you how to make this house, it's just showing you how to make something in this style, which I like. There is a load of room here. There's normally big, tall plants, trees in front of these, which I may add, I may not. There's this area here, which I am going to go through with these logs, and I'm just going to add them in like this, just to add in a bit more of a contrast into the wood, just making it look a tiny bit nicer and neater and all that. So yeah, I'm gonna add that in around all the sides, and I will be back after that to show off the house. There we go. We have finally finished off this modern style house. There's no interior. I did quickly go about just adding in floors along here, adding in the stairs, but I left the inside bare because honestly, it's a Minecraft modern house. If you're building it, you should detail the inside, put whatever you need. There's loads of room for storage and loads of room for whatever you need, even just a fancy sitting room or whatever. I've added on a little bit of glow lichen so that if it's dark, the building still stays mostly lit up, which I will show you now. The whole thing in the nighttime, which you can just see, it just has this faint glow from the glow lichen, which I think just helps it really stand out. It shows it's modern, the buildings are always bright, which, like, unless it's definitely midnight, everyone's asleep, the houses stay lit up perfectly. So this is just a brief tutorial on the style, not on a tutorial on building a house. It's a tutorial on the whole style behind the house. So let me know if you found this helpful for understanding. Let me know if you like this build, which I do. It's very clean. There's not a massive amount of details. There's little plants I just added in. Just gives a nice bit of color to it. So let me know what you think, and I will see yous all later. Goodbye.